a threshold where the world suddenly becomes too large for human comfort. At more than 1.7 million square kilometers, it is a geographical titan, a space so vast it could easily swallow entire nations without notice. Yet, the true weight of this frontier is not its physical measurement, but its profound, untouched isolation. Here the modern world falls away, replaced by a landscape where over 80% of the communities are entirely inaccessible by roads. To enter this territory is to step into a great, quiet void where nature does not merely exist. It commands. The ocean does not simply meet the shore. It crashes violently into towering fjords, massive glaciers, dense temperate forests, and volatile weather systems that seem to descend from an entirely different planet. In this space, scale changes the way the human eye works. Every valley stretches longer than the mind predicts. Every peak rises higher into the mist, and every horizon feels perpetually out of reach, as if the land itself is expanding as one moves through it. It is a beauty that is not soft or welcoming, but severe and demanding. The air itself carries a physical weight, smelling of sharp rain, sea salt, wet spruce, compressed snow, and glacial dust. It is the scent of a world still being actively carved by primeval forces older than human memory. As mountains rise from the perpetual fog like stone fortresses, and rivers run cloudy and cold with ancient meltwater, one is forced to confront a profound truth. Human civilization is nothing more than a fragile, temporary plan built upon an indifferent geological canvas. This severe beauty begs a silent question. Why does the human spirit feel so intensely drawn to places that make us feel so utterly insignificant? Is it a desire to escape the artificial noise of our daily lives? Or is it a deeper, instinctive need to remember that the earth still holds mysteries far larger than our plans? When one stands before the immense silence of the northern wilderness, the trivial worries of modern existence seem to dissolve into the cold wind. It is an emotional shift that leaves the observer quiet, sparking a deep, reflective curiosity about our place in the universe. Have you ever stood in a place so vast that it made you feel completely small, yet entirely alive? What is it about the cold, untouched edges of our world that calls to us so deeply? Perhaps it is the realization that we are part of something eternal, a granddazing written in stone and ice. Or maybe we seek the quiet reassurance that some corners of this planet will always resist our attempt to tame them. To watch these forces from afar is to take the first step into a world where survival is a daily negotiation. The coastline of this northern wilderness stretches for tens of thousands of miles, forming a jagged labyrinthine barrier where the cold Pacific and the brutal Bering Sea collide with raw rock. This is not a gentle shore. It is a violent, shattered boundary. Towering sea cliffs rise hundreds of meters straight out of the foaming surf, their black basalt faces scarred by centuries of relentless winter storms. Deep, narrow fjords, carved over epochal time by the massive weight of advancing glaciers, snake inland like frozen corridors. Here, the ocean does not merely touch the land. It wages a silent, ceaseless war of attrition against it. Fog clings to these ancient rock walls like a heavy shroud, rolling in from the open water to swallow entire islands in minutes, only to peel back just as quickly to reveal towering, snow-dusted peaks that pierce the low sky. To witness this coast is to understand the absolute vulnerability of human existence when confronted by the unrestrained and violent forces of the wild earth. For those who dare to navigate these treacherous waters, the ocean reveals its true, unforgiving nature. Fishing vessels, looking like tiny, fragile toys against the scale of the towering cliffs, leave faint, temporary wakes in valleys of deep green water. In the Inside Passage, dense, ancient temperate rainforests descend to the very edge of the tide, while massive glaciers glow with an eerie, primeval blue in the far-off valleys. This water is not merely scenery. It is a wild highway, a biological engine, and a constant danger that shapes every life along the coast. Millions of seabirds nest on the sheer cliffs, their cries drowned out by the thunder of the crashing surf, while humpback whales, orcas, and sea otters navigate the nutrient-rich depths below. But have you ever stood before an ocean so powerful that it felt alive, as if it possessed a mind of its own? What is it about the unpredictable sea that both terrifies us and calls to our deepest sense of adventure? The tides along this coast do not rise and fall quietly. They rush in with terrifying velocity and physical force. In places like the Turnagain Arm, the water can rise over 10 meters in a single cycle, creating a rushing bore wave that sweeps over massive mudflats, capable of trapping anything that steps onto them. To be caught out on these flats as the icy tide rushes back in is to face a certain frozen fate. A harsh reminder that here even the ground beneath one's feet can become a deadly trap within hours. Storms born in the deep Pacific sweep across the Aleutian chain, transforming calm bays into roaring cauldrons of white water and blinding spray. The wind howls through the narrow mountain passes, carrying the bitter cold of the polar north and pushing waves to heights that challenge the survival of even the largest vessels. It is a place of constant transition, where the boundary between the living world and the frozen void is as thin as a layer of sea spray. If this raw display of planetary power moves you, take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who yearns to witness the untamed corners of our world. As the coastal mist thickens, hiding the jagged cliffs and the distant rumble of calving glaciers, we are left to wonder about the secrets hidden beneath this dark, churning surface. The communities that cling to these shores survive not by conquering the sea, but by learning its rhythms, respecting its dangers, and accepting its terms. To live here is to live in constant awareness, knowing that the same water that feeds you can easily destroy everything you have built in a single night. It is a life of intense emotional depth, defined by a quiet resilience that mirrors the endurance of the very land itself. As we prepare to leave the coast and climb higher into the frozen interior, where ice fields stretch beyond the horizon and ancient peaks command the sky, we must carry this respect with us. Deep within the hidden interior of this frozen empire, beyond the fractured coastlines where the sea continues its relentless assault, lies the true heart of the ice, the glaciers. These are not static sheets of frozen water, but massive, slow-moving rivers of solid sapphire, weighing billions of tons and carving their path through solid granite with an unstoppable, crushing momentum. A glacier may appear entirely silent and motionless from a distance, but to stand near its base is to hear the deep, unsettling groans of the earth under unimaginable compression. It is a slow, rhythmic grinding, the sound of mountains being turned to dust beneath a frozen vise that has been sliding downward for thousands of years. Some of these colossal ice fields are fed by snow that fell centuries before human civilization even conceived of modern cities. Packed so tightly over generations that the very air has been squeezed from its crystalline structure. This intense compression alters the physics of the ice itself. When sunlight strikes the face of a glacier, it absorbs the red wavelengths of the light spectrum entirely, leaving only a deep, hypnotic, and almost artificial blue glow that radiates from the bottom of every yawning crevasse. These icy giants are the ultimate architects of the northern landscape, leaving a trail of raw, reshaped valleys and deepened fjords in their wake. When a tidewater glacier finally reaches the edge of the sea, the meeting is a spectacular and terrifying display of gravity and time. Massive walls of ice, rising higher than 30-story buildings, hang suspended over the dark water like fragile glass cliffs. Without warning, a fissure splits the face with a sound like a lightning strike, and a block of ice the size of an apartment building shears off, plummeting into the freezing ocean below. The impact is a colossal eruption of water and white foam, sending a shock wave through the fjord that can capsize small vessels and send waves crashing against distant shores kilometers away. Have you ever witnessed a moment where the sheer scale of nature's power left you completely speechless? unable to look away from the terrifying beauty of its destruction. What thoughts enter your mind when you realize that the ice collapsing before your eyes was formed long before your ancestors took their first breath? Please share your thoughts and personal stories of awe-inspiring moments in the comments below. Your reflections are what make this community of travelers so incredibly special. This continuous cycle of growth and decay is both a monument to the past and an active measurement of our changing planet. As many of these ancient glaciers begin to retreat at an unprecedented pace, they reveal raw, untouched valleys that have been locked away from the sun for millennia. Fresh sediment, newly formed lakes, and mineral-rich meltwater pour from the glacial portals, turning the nearby bays into a milky, turquoise blue that feeds the microscopic marine life at the bottom of the food chain. It is an unsettling transformation, a reminder that the Earth is not a finished masterpiece, but a living, changing canvas. When you look at these retreating giants, do you feel a sense of profound sadness for what is being lost? Or do you view it as the natural, inevitable evolution of a planet that has survived countless ice ages long before humans existed? If this exploration of deep time and frozen majesty has touched something within you, please take a moment to like this video. Share it with others who appreciate the deeper mysteries of our world. And make sure you are subscribed with notifications turned on, so you can walk with us through the chapters yet to come. To gaze upon the ancient blue heart of a glacier is to look directly into the eyes of deep time. It forces each of us to confront our own brief, flickering existence against a landscape that measures its days in centuries and its seasons in millennia. The cold wind blowing off these massive ice fields carries the chill of a world untouched by human ambition, urging us to listen to the silent lessons written in the ice. As we prepare to leave these blue fortresses and climb even higher into the sky, where the massive mountain walls of the interior rise to meet the atmosphere, we must ask ourselves if we are truly ready to face the absolute isolation of the highest peaks. Deep in the frozen heart of the interior, rising like a colossal monument of granite and white ice, stands Denali. At 6,190 meters above sea level, it is the highest peak in North America. But its true power is not merely its physical elevation. Unlike the towering giants of the Himalayas, which sit atop the already elevated Tibetan plateau, Denali rises directly from a low, sweeping plain of tundra, creating a vertical rise of over 5,500 meters. This sheer, unbroken wall of stone and ice is one of the most massive single mountain structures on the planet. A towering monolith that literally lifts the entire sky. To gaze upon its southern face is to look at a fortress of absolute indifference. A high-altitude world where the atmosphere is forced into violent submission. The Alaska Range stretches in a long, frozen arc across the interior, acting as a massive weather barrier that splits the continent's air currents. When moist, heavy maritime winds sweep north from the Gulf of Alaska, they crash directly into this gargantuan stone wall, forced upward into freezing elevations where they instantly condense into ferocious blizzard systems. At these extreme heights, Denali does not merely experience weather. It commands it. The mountain creates its own localized atmospheric systems, spinning gargantuan lenticular clouds that wrap around its summit like white halos, signaling the arrival of hurricane-force winds. Temperatures on the upper ridges routinely plunge far below -40 degrees, a cold so intense that it can freeze exposed human flesh in seconds and turn metal equipment brittle as glass. The wind does not merely blow. It howls through the jagged granite ridges with a deep, rhythmic roar that sounds like a continuous explosion, carrying with it a blinding spray of ice crystals that can erase visibility in an instant. For the rare, daring climbers who attempt to stand upon its frozen summit, the ascent is not a conquest, but a desperate, high-stakes negotiation with gravity and survival. They must move through a labyrinth of deep, hidden crevasses, gaping blue voids concealed beneath fragile bridges of wind-blown snow, knowing that a single misstep can send them plunging into an icy grave, from which there is no rescue. But what is it inside the human psyche that compels us to leave the safety of our warm, predictable lives to test ourselves against a mountain that could crush us without a second thought? Is it a search for absolute clarity, or is it a quiet defiance of our own mortality? When we confront a force so monumentally hostile, we are stripped of all our modern pretenses, forced to look directly at who we are when survival is our only remaining goal. Perhaps the true draw of the high peaks is not the view from the top, but the silent, transformative journey required to get there. Have you ever felt a profound pull toward a challenge that terrified you? A mountain in your own life that seemed too steep to climb? Beneath the high, storm-swept ridges of the range, massive glaciers slide downward into the valleys like frozen highways of blue shadow, grinding the mountainsides into fine dust over centuries. The silent tundra spreads outward from the base of the range, a vast open expanse where wolves, caribou, and giant moose wander beneath the shadow of the great peak. This landscape is a stark reminder that Denali does not need to be loud or dramatic to assert its authority. Its sheer silent presence dominates the horizon for hundreds of kilometers in every direction. It is a sentinel of deep geological time, a frozen fortress that has watched the slow rise and fall of ancient ice ages and the fragile migrations of humanity with the same cold, quiet gaze. As we prepare to descend from these high, wind-swept towers of stone and explore the wild, pulsing river valleys that carry this mountain meltwater to the distant seas, we must carry the lessons of the high altitude with us. We must remember that in this wilderness, the earth does not exist to serve us, but to remind us of our place in the grand, ancient order of the world. The transformation of this frozen land does not happen quietly or gradually. It begins with a violent, earth-shaking rupture in the very veins of the interior. As the brief northern spring forces its way through the valleys, the massive, frozen rivers' veins of solid ice that have held the country in a silent chokehold for half a year begin to crack. This is the spring breakup, a monumental event of raw kinetic violence. Slabs of ice, some as thick as concrete walls and stretching for kilometers, shatter under the rising pressure of meltwater flowing from the high glaciers. They grind against one another with a terrifying metallic screech, colliding with enough force to splinter giant spruce trees along the banks and alter the very course of the channels. The raw physical force of this seasonal shift is a stunning testament to the sheer, unyielding power of the natural world. The Yukon River, a massive 3,000-kilometer highway of wild water, becomes a raging conveyor belt of ice and mud, sweeping everything in its path toward the cold Bering Sea. To stand on the banks during the breakup is to feel the vibration of a planet awakening from its frozen slumber. A reminder that under the quiet snow, a powerful, unstoppable pulse has been waiting to be released. Once the ice has cleared, these cold, fast-flowing rivers transform into the great pulsing arteries of the entire northern ecosystem, carrying the lifeblood of the ocean deep into the silent forests of the interior. This is the moment of the Great Migration, an epic journey of survival that defies belief. Millions of wild salmon return from the open, storm-swept sea, guided by an ancient, invisible map written into their very biology. They swim upstream against the violent currents, leaping over rocky waterfalls, dodging the claws of waiting brown bears, and pushing their bodies to the absolute limit of physical exhaustion. Some of these fish will travel thousands of kilometers inland, climbing high into the mountain watersheds where they were born, only to spawn and die. Have you ever wondered what drives a creature to undertake such an exhausting, fatal journey just to return to its birthplace? Does it make you reflect on our own human instincts? Our own deep-seated need to find our way back to where we belong, no matter the obstacles in our path. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe we, like the salmon, possess an internal compass that always points us toward home? Or have we lost that primal connection in our modern lives? This biological connection is not a simple wildlife spectacle. It is a massive systemic transfer of marine energy that literally feeds the entire interior. When the giant brown bears catch these salmon and drag them into the dense spruce and hemlock forests, they are importing the rich nutrients of the distant ocean directly into the terrestrial soil. Scraps of fish left behind slowly decay into the earth, directly nourishing the giant trees, the mosses, the insects, the birds, and the forest scavengers. Scientists have found marine nitrogen from the ocean, deep within the rings of ancient trees miles from any river, proving that the forest itself is built from the sea. Without these moving highways of life, this vast land would be nothing more than a beautiful frozen museum. With them it breathes, pulses, and survives. It is a beautiful, fragile loop where the ocean, the rivers, the forests, and the wildlife are bound together in a single majestic and completely unbroken living rhythm that has survived for eons. For the people who have lived along these banks for generations, the rivers are not merely scenic waterways. They are the core of daily existence, carrying travel, food, and identity through the seasons. To watch the salmon return year after year is to witness a sacred promise kept by the earth, a steady constant in a world that is otherwise completely unpredictable. To step away from the roaring, ice-choked riverbanks and descend into the deep valleys of the southeast is to enter a world where the color of the earth changes entirely. This is not the sterile white of the glaciers or the cold gray of the coast, but the infinite, overwhelming green of the Tongass National Forest. Covering over 16 million acres, it is the largest temperate rainforest on Earth. A primeval wilderness where trees have stood since the Middle Ages. Here, rain does not merely fall. It dominates the atmosphere, descending in heavy, relentless curtains of mist that blur the boundary between the canopy and the sky. The air is thick, damp, and cool, carrying the rich, earthy scent of ancient soil, decaying hemlock, and wet cedar. Walking beneath this canopy is like stepping inside a vast green cathedral where the modern world is completely erased by a heavy, profound silence. It is a landscape defined by shadows and moisture, where life has learned to thrive in the cold, wet dark. The structural architecture of this ancient forest is built in complex, overlapping layers that mirror the dramatic, high-contrast tones of a coastal storm. Massive Sitka spruce and western hemlock rise 50 meters into the mist, their thick trunks wrapped in dense blankets of emerald moss that absorb moisture like giant sponges. Below the high branches, a tangled understory of devil's club, ferns, and huckleberry bushes creates a chaotic barrier, making off-trail travel almost impossible. The visual palette here is strikingly dark and moody, where blackbark trees stand silhouetted against white ribbons of rising fog, and the dark forest floor is punctuated by the sudden, vibrant red of wild berries, echoing the stark, dramatic colors of a storm-battered northern coastline. On this forest floor, a decaying carpet of fallen trees serves as the cradle for new life, with young saplings sprouting directly from the mossy, rotting bark. This floor does not feel like solid earth. It is a soft, living sponge that yields beneath every step, storing centuries of water, organic nutrients, and ecological memory. Bald eagles perch silently in the high branches, their sharp eyes scanning the crystal-clear creeks for the silver flash of returning salmon, while coastal brown bears move through the dense brush with a quiet, ghost-like grace. It is a perfectly balanced web where every falling leaf and every decaying branch plays a crucial role in the survival of the whole. There is a deep, almost spiritual solace to be found in a forest that has remained undisturbed for thousands of years. It forces us to slow our breath and listen to the ancient, quiet wisdom of trees that have survived fires, storms, and the slow passage of generations without ever moving from their spot. When you look at these towering giants, do you feel a sense of envy for their quiet, simple permanence? Or does the deep, shadowed silence of an ancient forest make you feel a sudden, unsettling wave of isolation? Many of us spend our lives in concrete cities, surrounded by constant digital noise, completely disconnected from the natural rhythms of the earth. Have you ever felt the urgent need to leave everything behind and lose yourself in a place where the only sound is the rain falling on the leaves? If this journey into the green heart of the North is awakening something deep within you, please take a moment to hit the like button and share this video with someone who needs to hear the quiet message of the wild forest. Your support helps us keep exploring these silent, forgotten places. As one travels farther north, away from the wet coast, the temperate rainforest fades, replaced by the vast expanse of the boreal forest or taiga. This is a much harsher landscape, dominated by thin black spruce, birch, and willow trees that must endure temperatures that swing from blazing summer heat to 60 degrees below zero. Here, the ground beneath the trees is locked in a state of perpetual frost, a thick layer of frozen soil known as permafrost. But as the climate warms, this frozen foundation has begun to thaw, causing the ground to buckle and cave in. As the soil collapses, the shallow root systems of the spruce trees lose their structural support, causing entire groves to lean, tilt, and cross at wild, chaotic angles. These are the drunken forests of the North, a striking and deeply unsettling visual symbol of a landscape in a state of rapid transformation. The wildlife of this northern frontier exists in a state of hyper-focused urgency, balanced on a razor-thin wire between seasonal abundance and immediate starvation. Here, the struggle to survive is not a slow background process. It is a dramatic, high-stakes spectacle played out across a canvas of extreme, high-contrast colors. The visual landscape mirrors the stark, moody tones of a violent sea storm, pitch-black volcanic rocks, bone-white snowfields, and deep sapphire-blue waters, punctuated by sudden, shocking bursts of crimson vitality, like the brilliant red of salmon scales or the stark outline of a solitary predator moving through a silent valley. In this severe theater, there is no room for error. The seasons do not transition with gentle warning. They change with the abrupt, unforgiving slam of a vault door. A single missed hunt, a delayed migration, or a weak summer fat store is not a minor setback. It is a swift, cold sentence of absolute erasure. Every creature, from the towering grizzly to the silent wolf, carries the heavy ancestral knowledge that the sun is always setting and the frost is always waiting to reclaim the earth. Consider the Kodiak brown bear, a colossal terrestrial giant that can weigh more than 600 kilograms. As the summer salmon runs peak, these massive predators abandon their solitary mountain slopes and gather at the roaring river rapids in a display of raw, seasonal desperation. This is not a leisurely feast. It is a frantic race against the clock. The bear must consume tens of thousands of calories every single day, turning the rich, fatty fish into thick layers of blubber before the long winter sleep begins. A bear that fails to build these crucial reserves will not survive the frozen, dark months ahead, when the rivers lock in ice and the forest turns entirely silent. Have you ever felt the crushing weight of a deadline so intense that your very survival felt at stake? Imagine that pressure magnified 1,000 times, where the penalty for falling short is never waking up from the frost. How do you think you would cope with a life defined entirely by such intense, unforgiving seasons of pressure and survival? Tell us in the comments below. Do you thrive under intense pressure? Or do you long for the calm, predictable rhythms of a quiet life? While the bears dominate the rivers, the dense willow thickets of the interior hide another giant, the Alaska moose. Standing over 2 meters tall at the shoulder and weighing as much as a heavy vehicle, these prehistoric creatures move through the tangled brush with a quiet, ghost-like grace that defies their massive size. Yet, during the autumn rut, this silence is shattered. Bull moose, carrying giant, heavy antlers spanning nearly 2 meters, engage in violent, earth-shaking battles for dominance. Their horns clashing with a metallic resonance that echoes through the cold valleys. It is a dangerous, exhausting display of physical power, leaving the combatants vulnerable to the shadows tracking them from the edge of the forest. The gray wolves of the north move in coordinated silence, their dark coats standing out like charcoal strokes on a white sheet of paper. They track the scent of weakness, waiting for the perfect moment of vulnerability to strike. It is a hunt that may appear cruel and heartless to the human observer, but it is the very engine that keeps the forest healthy, weeding out the sick and ensuring that only the strongest survive. This eternal, dramatic struggle extends far beyond the tree line and deep into the cold, gray waves of the Northern Ocean. Here, family pods of orcas hunt with a high intelligence and coordinated strategy that rivals the most advanced human plans. They use their immense physical strength, shared memory, and acoustic echolocation to trap harbor seals on floating blocks of sea ice, washing them into the dark water with waves generated by their massive tail flukes. Nearby, humpback whales gather to perform one of the most stunning acts of marine cooperation on Earth: bubble net feeding. Swimming in a tight, rising spiral beneath schools of herring, they blow a continuous wall of bubbles that acts as a physical net, trapping the panicked fish in a cylinder of white foam before rising to the surface with their massive mouths wide open. When we witness these incredible displays of intelligence, cooperation, and raw power, we are forced to reevaluate our relationship with the natural world. Do you see these wild predators as ruthless killers? Or do you see them as the beautiful, necessary keepers of a planet that is far wiser than our civilizations? Beyond the high, jagged fortresses of stone and the infinite, shadowed green of the interior lies the vast, featureless expanse of the Arctic tundra. This is the very edge of the continent, a flat and open world stretching endlessly under a sky that offers no shelter from the relentless polar winds. In the deep winter, the sun slips entirely below the horizon and does not return for weeks, plunging the frozen plains into a long, silent polar night. The visual landscape here is completely stripped of warm tones, dominated by a stark, high-contrast palette of pitch-black skies, pure white snowfields, and the ghostly green of the aurora borealis dancing silently overhead. This dramatic, moody aesthetic mirrors the dark, storm-battered sea crossings and frozen wastes of the far north, where humanity's presence feels like a temporary intrusion. The wind moves across this flat void with terrifying velocity, a physical wall of freezing air that sweeps away tracks and turns the very atmosphere into a blinding shroud of ice crystals. It is a severe, quiet sentinel of a world that tests the absolute limits of survival. At the northernmost boundary of this frozen frontier, the tundra finally meets the ice-choked waters of the Arctic Ocean. This is the ancient realm of the bowhead whale, a gargantuan marine sentinel that can live for more than 200 years. To witness a bowhead breach the dark, freezing surface of the sea is to gaze upon a living archive of our planet's history. A single whale swimming beneath the shifting pack ice today may have been born before the first steam engines began to rewrite human history, carrying the silent, cold memory of a pre-industrial Earth in its massive, dark body. As we contemplate this incredible span of deep time, we are forced to ask a profound, soul-searching question. If you could look through the eyes of a creature that has lived for 2 centuries, witnessing the slow, relentless transformation of our planet, what do you think it would tell us? Would it warn us of our own short-sighted folly? Or would it simply watch our fleeting human struggles with a quiet, ancient indifference? The survival of this entire polar ecosystem depends fundamentally on a single, fragile element: sea ice. It is not merely frozen water, but a critical hunting platform, a migration highway, and a global climate regulator. Upon this shifting, volatile margin moves the polar bear, its thick white fur standing in sharp, dramatic contrast against the dark, open water of the northern sea. But this boundary is rapidly shrinking. The ice is forming later each autumn and retreating earlier each spring, leaving the great predators stranded on the land far from their primary hunting grounds. As the protective barrier of sea ice vanishes, violent late-season storms sweep across the open ocean, unleashing massive, roaring waves that strike the vulnerable coastal plains with devastating force. The visual drama of these storms, with towering walls of gray-black water crashing onto the shore under a chaotic, violent sky, recalls the terrifying power of the deadliest ocean crossings, where humanity's fragile structures are easily shattered by the unrestrained fury of the sea. This shrinking boundary is not just an ecological crisis. It is a direct threat to the ancient coastal communities that have belonged to this frozen shore for thousands of years. Villages built on the edge of the sea now face rapid, catastrophic erosion as the waves claw away the frozen earth beneath their homes, forcing them to negotiate their very survival with a changing climate. It is a quiet tragedy occurring at the absolute edge of human sight. A warning that what changes in the Arctic does not remain in the Arctic, but ripples outward to shape the future of our entire planet. If this powerful, emotionally raw exploration of our planet's most vulnerable frontier has deeply moved you, please support our mission by hitting the like button, sharing this video with others who care about the future of our wild spaces, and making sure you are subscribed so you never miss our upcoming journeys. The night is closing in, and the final threshold of our journey lies just ahead. To truly understand the absolute limit of the northern frontier, one must leave the solid safety of the stone fortresses and look west, where the land falls away into the cold, churning expanse of the Bering Sea. This is not merely an ocean. It is a legendary battlefield of liquid chaos, a real-world storm ocean that rivals the deadliest crossings on Earth, reminiscent of Cape Horn or the wild Atlantic. Here, the collision of freezing Arctic air with the warmer currents of the Pacific creates a cyclonic engine of continuous, violent storms. The waves that rise from these tempests are not ordinary swells. They are towering, gray-black walls of moving water, massive giants of the deep that rule this watery wilderness with an iron, unforgiving hand. In these remote waters, rogue waves, unpredictable, colossal mountains of water, rising twice the height of the surrounding storm seas, can emerge without warning from the gloom, streaking vessels with a concussive force that can shatter steel hulls and capsize even the most modern industrial ships in a single, devastating instant of endless ocean fury. For the brave crews who operate the commercial fishing fleets in these waters, daily work is a high-stakes gamble against mortal danger and physical exhaustion. Under low, heavy clouds that erase the horizon, fishermen face the terrifying reality of freezing spray. When the icy ocean water washes over the deck, it freezes instantly in the sub-zero air, coating the ship's metal railings, traps, and rigging in thick, heavy sheets of ice. This top-heavy weight grows by the minute, threatening to destabilize the vessel and send it rolling into the freezing depths. If the crew cannot beat the ice away with mallets in the middle of a screaming gale, it is a grueling, sleepless nightmare where a single slip on the ice-covered deck means falling into a black 30-degree ocean where survival is measured in minutes. Have you ever watched a storm rage from the safety of your home and wondered what it would feel like to be trapped on a small wooden deck in the middle of a dark, screaming ocean, completely out of reach of any rescue? Yet, even in this violent water, the northern sky offers a silent, spectacular contrast to the terror below. As the winter darkness deepens and the ocean storms temporarily subside, the aurora borealis appears overhead, painting the cold polar sky in silent ribbons of glowing green, deep violet, and shimmering white. These cosmic lights do not warm the freezing sea, but they transform the pitch-black night into a moving ocean of silent fire, reflecting perfectly in the small, dark patches of open water between the shifting pack ice. For the observer standing on the frozen deck of a ship, the aurora feels like a quiet message from the deep cosmos. A reminder that even in the most hostile, unforgiving environments, the Earth still holds wonders of unimaginable beauty. It changes the emotional landscape entirely, turning a scene of absolute terror into a moment of sublime spiritual awe. And so, we are brought back to the very threshold of this frozen empire, where our exploration must end. Yet the cycle continues forever. Most who watch these scenes will now close this window and return to the comfortable, organized noise of modern civilization, allowing the cold truth of this frontier to fade like melting ice. But a rare few will remain altered, carrying the silent weight of the wild in their souls forever.